spilt.
Huh?
Blood spilt.
Blood spill.
Hey YouTube, what's up? We're back. Bros before bows. Just kind of a little bit, it's been a little while since we've done a video, so just a little bit of explanation. We've been just finished, well, a little over a month ago, just finished up the 3D shoots, the TAC events, and we're spending some time getting our hunting setups dialed in. But before we jump into the hunting season, I kind of owe you guys a bow review. So our last video that we put out the 2023 innovation or gimmick video, and to tell you the truth, this bow came highly recommended, so Josh and I figured let's figure out what it's all about. So I've got here the Prime Revex. This is the Revex 6, and like you guys know, if you've watched any of our videos, I've always had a soft spot for Prime in my heart. I really do. I like the way that Prime shoots, and in that last video we talked about Prime going to their module system. So let's just start off with a little bit about the Revex.
All right. Heat's on.
Dead center 12, dude.
No.
Dead center 12. Nice. Nice.
I don't think so. That's a little high.
Nice.
A little bit to the right of yours.
All right, so just to begin with, just a few of the specs of the Revex 6. Obviously, Revex 6 means it's 36 inches axle to axle. Brace height is 6 3/4 inches. Its IBO rating is 330 feet per second. The draw length with the specific mods will go anywhere from 27.5 to 31.5 inches. Let's see, anything else? It will, you can actually order this in anywhere from 40 to 80 pound limbs. And those are the basic specs of the Revex 6. Now, what's new for this year compared to the inline? So it seems like every year the primes go from odd numbers to even numbers. So this year they started off with 36. They have a 34, a 32-inch axle to axle bow. In addition to that, they collaborated with a couple of companies and put out some specific accessories for this bow. This Epsilon is actually a Prime specific Epsilon. It has a bolt-on bracket that's specific to this bow that puts it very easy to run from center shot from the settings that it comes with for tuning purposes. Also, I haven't got to mess with it yet, but Tight Spot collaborated with them to make a quiver that bolts directly into the riser here, which helps get those arrows close to the bow. So Prime's doing some things that a lot of the other bows in the industry are doing to kind of help balance as far as like the weight of a quiver and also the ease of the setup with the Hamskea Epsilon. In addition to that, they have an all new cam system. The core cam, I think, is what they're calling this. With like I mentioned before, with the draw mods individually specific for each draw length. And I'll talk a little bit about the pluses and minuses of that in just a second. I shot this bow probably a good 3,000 arrows out of this bow just to kind of get a good feel for it. Trying to think of all the things that people talk about when they review bows, the things that are important to them. The draw cycle with these new cams, and maybe I'll just jump into that right now. The things that I really like about this bow is the draw cycle is nice and smooth. The inline I felt like was a little bit harsh as far as the draw cycle. It had some kind of points where it was a little bit difficult. And maybe that has to do with the rotating mod at specific draw lengths. I've heard people talk about that, so that's a possibility. But this draw cycle for this bow was nice and smooth. And in fact, when I first got this bow, I felt like it was pulling at least a good 5 pounds lighter than what I thought it was supposed to. And then come to find out with the draw scale, it was actually at 71.5 pounds, so pretty close to 70 pounds. And it felt nice to draw. No major humps, just a smooth linear draw cycle. The drawback to, and we mentioned this before in that previous video, the drawback to having this type of draw length specific mod system is that it kind of limits the amount of tinkering that you can do on your own. Meaning, if I wanted to add a 1/2 inch or take away a 1/2 inch of draw length, I would be stuck in, well, not necessarily stuck, but limited to buying specific draw mods. Or there's a couple of things that you can do with the cables and the mainstring to kind of fine tune that. Now, to try to get a 1/2 inch out of those tinkering methods is a little bit much. So, in addition to that, I think I've gotten used to the draw length and having that specific, but I think, and maybe in the future Prime will do this. Any of the engineers at Prime, you're free to message down below in the comments. Let us know. I don't know if there's plans for adjusting the let off with a specific draw mod. I would be definitely interested in that. The only way that I'm aware of adjusting the let off with the draw mods as they are now is kind of building up material on the ends of the draw stops. And I've heard people doing that and read about that. I would prefer to have a draw mod that was specific for a specific let off on the bow. So for me, that is the one major drawback to this type of system. That being said, this is probably my favorite Prime that I've shot, and that's actually quite a big leap for me, because I really enjoyed shooting the Black 5. I still have that bow, will never get rid of that bow, and I love the way that it shoots. That being said, this bow right here, I've enjoyed shooting more than that bow. So, why do I enjoy shooting this bow more than that bow? This bow is quieter. They actually did a little bit of something with the string stop. I think they changed materials in which they went from a fiberglass rod on the string stop to a carbon fiber string stop, which actually helped quiet down the bow quite a bit. There's a couple other tricks that you could do to quiet this bow down even more, but as it is, it's quiet. I enjoy shooting this bow because, and this goes for all of the primes that I've shot in the past, because of the hold. And that's one of the things that when people talk about the hold, when they review bows, it's kind of interesting. When you go, and that's, in my opinion, if you're gonna assess the way that a bow holds, there's several different factors that go into that. Number one would be having the proper draw length. It would be very hard to assess the bow's hold if you have the wrong draw length. However, with this bow at the right draw length, well, to assess any bow, you'd probably have to shoot it out at a little bit greater distance than just the indoor 20-yard range to actually be able to tell if you were shooting bows side to side, to tell if you felt like one was steadier than the other, if that makes any sense. Now, there's other characteristics that help a bow hold steady, but the prime having the grip in the center of the bow, I've always found at the correct draw length to be rock solid as far as a hold. And that's the thing that I enjoy most about shooting this bow. This bow with a 470 grain arrow at 29.5-inch draw length at 70 pounds was able to get a 282 out of my chronograph as far as like feet per second, which is a respectable arrow, and able to get those kind of feet per second actually helps be quite a bit more accurate when you're judging distances in a hunting situation. So, Prime Revex. What are my thoughts? Like I said before, I'd like to thank you guys for recommending this bow. Like I said, I'd already thought about this bow before, but having several people recommend it, saying, don't sleep on this bow. You're right. This bow is definitely a shooter. I shot this bow at TAC in Colorado and shot very well. Was very pleased with its performance. There's not been a situation where I've had this bow and thought that it wouldn't perform the way I wanted it to. And having confidence in your equipment is as important as the way that it performs. And that's one thing that I've always appreciated about Prime, is just knowing that what you're gonna get each time you draw it back, how it's gonna feel, and how the arrow's gonna come off that rest, and watching the arrow flight. Really impressed with Prime Revex. Thanks for watching. If you got any questions or comments, if you made it to this point in the video by now, then thanks for hanging with us. I owe you at least one more review for this year prior to the hunting season. Maybe we'll get some hunting footage and share it with you guys. If you got questions, comments, Please like and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Last thing, clean brakes and shoot straight.